Are hotting up with smaller parties and independents vying for your votes. So will there be an outright winner in the major metros, or will this dynamic split the vote and lead to coalitions? Well, in a recent survey, Ipsos took a special focus on Tshwane, Johannesburg and Nelson Mandela Bay. Rofhiwa Madzena has been unpacking the data and joins us now. You are Mrs. Data this election season. You are crunching the numbers for us, Rofhiwa.
That's right.
So what are the issues that voters are looking at in these highly contested municipalities?
Let's take a look at that, Clement. So this is a survey that surveys people around the country in various communities. We do this constantly until the elections, and some more interesting data will be coming out. But what we're looking at here, which is very interesting, Clement, because you would think that people want to have water, electricity, but the most important service in all three metros is safety and security. So I found that very interesting. I suppose with safety and security, as long as you've got your streets light working, you can go running or you can walk in the streets. If you feel safe in your community, then you're able to be quite happy in there. And then it was very interesting. Tshwane is big on affordable services, but what services are affordable? We pay out of our noses for water, we pay out of our noses for electricity. And then, of course, people like clean, healthy streets, and that is an important element for them as well.
That's interesting. So tell us about the residents in Tshwane and Johannesburg, because I see almost half are dissatisfied with the service they're getting.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So when we look at the satisfaction that comes through, very few people in the major metros are very satisfied with the kind of services that they get, and of course the municipal leadership that they have. So you'll see that over the last few years, after the last local government elections, the dissatisfaction grew significantly, and we're sitting at a place where almost 50% in all major metros, except for Nelson Mandela Bay, are very dissatisfied. What I thought was interesting about this, very quickly, Clement, Nelson Mandela Bay has a very low rate of dissatisfaction, but it's one of the municipalities that doesn't really give services to the community members. There are a lot of scandals, a lot of corruption in that municipality. So the data that came through there was quite interesting.
Yeah, we are very, very dissatisfied. Even though some people may be dissatisfied, Rofhiwa, when they're registered to vote, they often vote for the same party. Why is that the case?
And this is mind-boggling, right? So if we take a look at those numbers in the major metro, despite the dissatisfaction and the constant disappointment, the corruption, all of these major metros have the same people voting for the same parties every time. And that's why you see the dynamics that you do. But you did have a nice conversation a little bit earlier on about independent candidates and coalitions. So this, even though we have people voting for the same parties, there is a new cohort of voters that will shake things up a little bit, and I think those numbers are going to vary.
All right, let's focus on Johannesburg now. And people have been weighing in about what's good about living in the city and what's not good about living in the city. What are we finding from this data?
So let's have a look at that, Clement. People living in Johannesburg say, and I must just say, these are very low numbers. So the number of people that are actually saying, this is what's good about my city, are very low. So in what's good about Johannesburg, for example, some of the things people said: we have a competent local authority, no potholes, and we've got the provision of water and electricity, we've got good ward councillors, and we've got access to hospitals, clinics, schools, so that they don't have to travel extremely far for basic necessities. But let me show you what's really bad about living in the city here. We've got also quite low numbers, but a big one here is that the roads in Johannesburg, many areas in Johannesburg, are in a bad state. 11% of participants indicating that. And then, of course, regular and water electricity outages.
Tell me about it. Tell me.
Do you live in one of those areas in Johannesburg where you're
do.
Constantly having to fight with your councillors about the provision of basic services? So that came in as some of the important things about living in Johannesburg.
All right, candidate support, who's coming up tops? That's what people want to know.
Yeah, this is what people want to know. Let's take a look at that. So it measures from a 0 to 10. And I thought it was very interesting. There's Herman Mashaba coming out tops in Joburg, 4.5% almost as the top candidate for Johannesburg, the mayoral candidate that is. And then we've got the DA coming in second. And then we've got, the ANC rather coming in second, and then the DA a close third right behind the ANC. But of course, there's a third wave of the survey that we're doing ahead of the elections on Monday. More and more people are going to be surveyed, so these numbers could look a little bit different in the coming days.
That's interesting. And of course, the final say is on Monday. No matter what we're getting from our polls, it's you who's going to really put the final one down. Rofhiwa, thank you for crunching the numbers for us. Don't forget, you have to tune into Power to Truth with JJ Tabani this evening for a special election debate. He'll be focusing on service delivery, and still to come.